set up here so that way I can see the chat. Hopefully it pops up. I think this is gonna work. All right, so last week I had started sewing a Cuddle book from Cotton Cuts. So Cotton Cuts is the small business that I do the puzzle mystery quilts with. Hi Arnetta, how are you? And they have started selling kits that you can order monthly or just by itself to sew up like the soft books. So last week I had did the cover and the ears, and so now this week I plan on finishing the interior pages. Hi Charlene. Yes, I feel that way very much. I'm like, it's Tuesday, it feels like Friday. Tomorrow's a full day of work, and then all the Thanksgiving festivities. But I'm excited. I'm excited to be spending time with family. I'm gonna go home and see all my nieces and cousins and stuff. So it should be a good time. Can't complain too much because I don't do any of the cooking. My grandma still like cooks everything for us, and we just bring like desserts and empty stomachs. So it should be good. I hope if you guys are celebrating Thanksgiving this week that you know, it's enjoyable. You get to enjoy it, have a good time with friends or family. I'm just getting everything. I last week I was cutting out the batting and the pages at the same exact time. So over the weekend I just pre-cut the pages and the batting, and I just realized now as I'm talking about this, I actually only needed 2 pieces of batting and I cut 4, but that's okay because I actually signed up for the monthly subscription, so I get a couple of these books in. I mentioned last week that I have a couple friends with baby showers coming up, so I was cutting this while I was also in an online class on Saturday, so I was just cutting 1 per each thing, but that's not what I need. Alright, and I kept this just to show what the front cover and the back cover will be. This was part of the whole yard of fabric, and I kept the instructions. So I'm just going to make sure I'm grabbing the correct pages because this was pages 10 and 1. So now I need to make sure I'm picking up in the correct spots. Have you guys been doing anything fun this week, or are you just prepping? This weekend we had I did the sewing marathon on Saturday as well, which was a lot of fun. Thank you for those of you who hopped on or watched my video and left a comment. I really appreciate that. Okay, so I need 9 and 2. Sorry, I was reading the instructions to make sure I grabbed the next one. 9 and 2 and 3 and 8. I know, Arnetta, thank you so much. I know you were on for the live. I appreciate that. It was a lot of fun. I really look forward to the marathons. We're doing another one in sorry, the thing on TikTok just popped up and said that it's restricting my live. All right, not sure why. That's okay. What was I talking about? The marathon. Oh yeah. So next month we are doing a holiday themed marathon. So everybody participating can pick whatever they want to sew. I haven't decided yet what I want to make. I don't know if I'm going to make a bag or just maybe make some things that could make some good gifts or whatnot. And then we've kind of been talking about behind the scenes what we're going to do for next year. So there's been some ideas. I don't know if we're going to do them monthly or more quarterly, or have some, like right now they are pre-recorded and we're live in the chat. So that might be changing a little bit too. So I'll let you guys know. I like the monthly ones because it keeps me motivated to try to be more consistent with my YouTube channel. Filming videos is a lot of work behind the scenes, and I never really realized it until I started filming myself with all the editing and everything. So I do have all these plans, but it's just so hard to make time and then actually get them done. So we'll see. Regardless if the monthly go on or not, I still plan on keeping my lives and hopefully adding more tutorials to my channel. Okay, and what I'm doing right now is I'm just lining up the next 2 pages. I cut the batting a little bit wider so that way I can just trim it out of the seams later on. It seemed to work well for that for the cover. And what I'm going to do is I'm also going to stick a ribbon in each side where I had folded in half, and I'm going to tuck them in. I'm going to pin the centers here first, and then put the ribbons in. And so for this, I put the ribbons at the top and the bottom. So I'm going to kind of put the next 2. So hopefully they'll kind of go all the way across the end by the time the book is done. And actually what I could do is just to make sure I'm kind of keeping them in line. If I line this up, I can see, and then there we go. And last time I was sewing with a 80-10 needle. This time I filmed my last video with a 90-14 Microtex, which is my preference, especially when I'm making bags. And I just left the Microtex in because this is gonna get rather thick. So I'm hoping it works okay. I might have to switch it out. So we'll see about that. Oh, and I realized I didn't, I put it right side facing in, but I didn't put it between the layers that I needed to. So I got to fix it on that other side. Try not to have to seam rip. Last week was a learning experience. My first time ever making one of these. I'm really enjoying it because it's something different. I'm one of those people that I can't do the same thing over and over again. So it's nice trying something different. Even with bags, there's very few bag patterns where I make multiple. Honestly, I feel like the patterns that I make the most of are my own patterns, and only when I am writing the pattern just to kind of like test everything to make sure it works. Once it's done, I don't know, I constantly like to make new things. Hi Meg, hi Addie, hi Winter, hi Willow. I was talking to my nieces right before I hopped on, so they're hopping on. I asked if they were gonna watch, so I'm glad you guys are saying hi. They are coming to visit me in New York, and I'm really excited because they've only visited me in passing when we went on like a trip to Hershey Park. So we're gonna do some fun stuff together in the city, so I can't wait. All right, hopefully I have clipped this enough. I'm going to leave a turning hole in the bottom here, like I did last time. So I'm going to start at this bottom and just go around. And I'm using the edge of my presser foot as my seam allowance gauge and using the edge of the book as a guide. Yeah, they're getting old enough now where they watch their own shows and stuff on YouTube or whatnot, but they'll hop on with my sister to watch, and we've sewn some things together, but we got some more projects we want to work on too. We'll see, maybe. So it's hard when I go home to bring all like my sewing supplies. So maybe when they come see me, we can work on a small project, because it's so much easier, or would be so much easier here where I have all the materials. No one else like still sews in my family, so if I want to do a sewing project, I have to make sure I grab everything and bring it, or pick it up at the store. Which has become a lot harder now since Joann's is out of business. We just have the Michael's, which really doesn't sell much fabric stuff, and then Walmart. Walmart has a lot of stuff, and I don't mind. I use a lot of my material and stuff from there. So how about those of you who are crafty? Do you make a lot of the same projects over and over? Or do you find yourself like switching things up? I always think that's really interesting, because I feel like there's both types of people. Oh, sorry, Connecticut. I grew up in northeastern Connecticut, like on the border of Rhode Island, really. So even though I've been in New York for 16 years and it's home, like New York City, it's like home to me now. When I say I'm going home, it always means like where I grew up. Because that's where almost my entire family is, and a lot of my friends. But it's nice. When I went to college in Florida, it was more difficult. I would only come home for summer and Christmas. So it's nice being in New York City because it's about a 2.5 hour drive. So when I go visit, I usually go for like the weekend. So I can't see the bottom. I'm hoping that this hasn't shifted too much as I'm going. I'm using, if you can see, like the white as the edge, and I'm just lining up that white with the edge of my presser foot. And I'm hoping that the top didn't shift too much, that it doesn't really show when I go to turn this. About a 3.5 inch turning hole. Last time I sewed it, and it was kind of a smaller turning hole, so thanks, Dad. Dad thinks he's funny saying I grew up. No, I'm just like you. I never grew up. Yeah, it's really nice. My parents have come to the sewing convention in Tennessee with me. And Dad always watches on Tuesday nights. My mom's working. Sometimes she'll catch it if she's home. But yeah, though they don't always say anything, everything or something every time, they're usually watching. Right now, I don't have any sewing conventions like set in stone. I know Amanda from Sew Bestie is doing Sewcations again in July, which I hope to get to. And the Sacramento Bag Expo or Bag and Sewing Expo, I believe, is in August this year. So I haven't looked too much yet into planning them. But hopefully I'll be able to get out and teach or attend at least one of them. And right now, before I turn this, because I cut the batting a little bit wider, I'm just trimming it out of the seam allowance so it's not quite as puffy when I turn it. And I'm being very careful that I don't accidentally cut the book page, because that would not be fun. Yeah, so Charlene, I have to double check because she originally said end of June, but I think she might have switched it to July. I know quite a few people were saying that end of June is really hard with like graduations and people who had kids still in school. So I think she might have switched it. I have to double check. My niece is upset because she's going to this really fun program at Recreation tomorrow, but she has to take a different bus to get there. But I'm sorry, Winter. Auntie has to go to work tomorrow. It's a full day of work for me, too. But I will see you on Thanksgiving morning. And I'm sure you're going to have a fun time. Your friends are all going to be there. Okay, yeah, Charlie. I thought she had mentioned that, but I wasn't 100% sure. I enjoyed it in July last year. So in New York City, we have a ton of holidays where we don't have school. So we get all the Jewish holidays. We get Eid now, Lunar New Year, Holly. So by the time we throw in all the holidays, our last day of school is the end of June. I think last year my last day was June 28th. So it makes it really hard for me to attend anything in June. So it was really hot, but we still had a great time. Jason and I turned it into like a little mini vacation. I taught the classes. My classes were all in the morning, so I taught in the morning, and then we went out. Drove around Lake Mead in Valley of Fire State Park. We went to Red Rocks Canyon, the Punk Rock Museum. So even though it was hot, there was still a lot of stuff to do that was like air conditioned or indoors, or when we did the outdoor things, we kind of just drove through, hopped out, took some pictures, and then got back in the AC car. And I've never been to California. It's on my bucket list, so I would love to go to the Sacramento one because I would want to turn that into a vacation too. I would want to go see the redwood trees or the sequoias. My goal one day is I would love to drive like the coast of Florida from like San Diego all the way up, or start at the top and drive all the way down, but I feel like that would take a lot more time and planning. Alright, so I didn't iron these because I was like cutting them out as I was sewing last time. I think the next book I'll probably cut everything and iron it, but I didn't want to press these and then the pages shrink. So I figured that once I have it all together, then I'll press them. And I'm not sewing up the bottom yet. Charlene had a really great suggestion of using fabric glue, but I didn't buy any. The ones that I have, I feel like they don't work that very well, and I also need to make sure you wouldn't be able to see it. That, or I can just not be lazy and ladder stitch it. I just hate hand sewing. What I do think I'm going to do though is I have the little crinkle pages. I had put some in the ears. So this is just like a piece of plastic crinkle material that Cotton Cuts included. And I'm going to put that up into one of these side pages here. If I can fit my hand in, I'm going to try to put it into the left. And then for the next page, put it into the right. I folded it to get it in the turning hole, and now I'm just trying to like flatten it out and slide it across. But it still might end up in the middle here. And also, I don't know if this melts, so when I do press this, I'm going to have to be really mindful. I'll probably put a Teflon sheet on. I'm like trying to peek in. I think, it's still folded in half, or partly folded. Oh, there we go. Well, I guess I can fit my hand in there. That works better. Alright. I didn't think the turning hole was big enough that I could fit my hand in, but that worked out good. Alright, there we go. So now, this should just sit in the center here. And they have like a line in the middle to match it all up, and if you notice, the interior pages are smaller than the cover. That is on purpose, so that was not an error of me sewing. I mean, it might be a little, like, I might have taken a slightly wider, but it is meant that the cover is a little bit bigger than the interior page. All right, yay, so one more page. So I'm going to do the same thing, just move this piece of batting out of the way. Charlene, do you have any other retreats planned? I think you said you were just at one more recently, I think. I would love to do like a smaller local one. I think that would be fun. Usually those are more geared towards quilting. And doing the shop hop, I've visited quite a few stores now in New England and New York. So I joined like their Facebook pages and their sewing lists and stuff. So that way I can keep an eye on classes and things that look fun. Alright, and again, I'm just matching up these centers. And this really wasn't bad. The first part was just like, the hardest part was because I just never had done one before. So just making sure I was reading everything correctly. And I'm using like an extra fluffy batting. This was left over from a quilt that I am working on. I think I had bought like a twin size and it was more of a throw size. So this was just this was a nice use of scraps, but I really like fluffy quilts. Um, so I wasn't sure how this will work in the book. It's going to make the book really puffy, but I like it so far. I just hope it doesn't give me trouble when I put the final, like when I go to sew all the pages together. But this machine is like a beast and will sew through anything, so I don't think it'll be a problem because it will fit under my presser foot. Oh, that's so exciting. Was it quilting, Charlene? What did you guys work on? All right, so now I got my last 2 ribbons, and one is really small and then one is wide. So I also like that they give you, like, the textures of all of these are very different and the sizing is different. I'm just using the book again to kind of line this up. I'll have to ask. My sister she works in a nursing home, and putting these little tabs on here remind me of like I've seen people where they make like the different, I don't want to call them, like almost like mats and stuff that have like buttons and things that they give people who are suffering from like dementia and stuff. I wonder if they use them at her nursing home. And I'm not measuring how deep I'm putting these, so hopefully they don't, or they stick out a equitable distance or doesn't look too silly, because I'm just basically turning them in and hoping that it looks okay. Oh, that's great. I didn't realize that until more recently that some retreats are kind of like you bring whatever you want to work on, and it's kind of like a not open house, but there's not a set project. You know who does bag making retreats and is not far from me? Jess from So Many Creations. She is just a couple hours north of me, and she does a lot of online virtual retreats. But every few months she does like an in-person weekend, and she does kind of the same thing where you can bring like any one of her projects to work on, and she's there to help you. I want to do that sometime because 1, she's awesome and so funny, and 2, it's not that far, so it would be convenient to go to. Well, I'm glad I just double checked this because the bottom page of this kind of folded back on itself. And I would not have noticed until I went to turn it. 3 quilt top. That's a lot, Charlene. Were you following like a specific pattern? The thing that I hate the most is cutting. I really want to make the ghost party quilt, and I have all my fabrics. I have the pattern. And I cut out enough for literally 1 ghost. And I'm just like, I haven't even started sewing it yet. Maybe I'll work on that one night on a Tuesday live. But I was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can cut this many more. Also, if you cut yourself, do you guys have the Stripology rulers? Like, I bought I think they're called like Ann Taylor. I bought the one that Walmart carries, which is kind of like soft plastic. And I'm curious if the Stripology ones are not quite as flexible and like don't slip as much. You cut everything out before camp. Yeah, that's smart. I saw, I know Lynn's Handmade is doing another, like, 2 retreats. And I have seen where some people post that they're teachers and ask if she would ever do a summer one. But the venue that they use do, like, summer camps for kids. I'm hoping, she said that since they relocated to Tennessee, they're gonna maybe look for like a spot down there. I hope she would be able to do one in the summer. I used to work summer school and I stopped, I don't know, it's probably been about 6 years now. I worked summer school for like 9 years in a row. Because it's good money, but I stopped 6 years ago when I did some summer trainings. Like, I've done some professional developments, like one in South Carolina and one I interned here in the city for. So now I find it would be really hard to go back to teaching summer school. I like being able to have the time in the summer devoted to sewing. And I also noticed that it's, because I'm not working, it's I have more time to dedicate to like the YouTube channel or even just like my Facebook group in itself. And again, I'm just trimming away the extra batting out of the seams. And not because my machine won't go through it, I just think it will make it sit better when I turn it. Otherwise, I feel like it would be extra poofy because it would be folded onto itself. Shirley, do you have a favorite glue that you like to use? I have like a fabric glue stick, and I have like this, what is it it's right here. Fabri-Tac, but I'm worried that with it being liquidy, that you would see it would leave like a wet spot that comes through. I really like your idea of gluing. And it's not that I don't like hand sewing because it's like time consuming. I just feel like I'm not very good at it. So I guess it would be something I need to really practice. Oh, did I? Okay. I got worried for a second. I thought that I left such a part hanging out that I thought I didn't like put the correct side into between the pages. And I'm not trimming these down because they're going to be inside the book anyways. This way, if they decide to fray or anything, it's less likely that they'll come out of the seams. All right, thanks, Charlene. I appreciate it. Yeah, like the really liquidy, like this one I don't mind in bag making because, it's like hidden. But I accidentally used one time, not thinking about it, the fray check, and used way too much, and it came out from behind my snap that I was putting in and left a mark on the quilting cotton. And I was so annoyed because I had worked so hard. And I mean, there are some things that you can do to help get out glue residue, but I personally have never really had success with them it working, like being 100% successful. And I'm just taking the chopstick to poke out the corners. As you can see, the numbers, I had to be really mindful of the seam allowance because the numbers are right on the end. I prefer a wider seam allowance, so I was hoping I didn't cut them off. And I mean, we'll check this size. Hopefully I don't just jinx myself. But so far I have not. No, I didn't either. All right. So far I think we're good. And this is literally just a wooden chopstick from takeout. I use it all the time. I actually eat way too much sushi takeout. I went the other day and picked some up. They have like this lunch special around the house. And I used to get delivery all the time, but I was like, okay, I can not be lazy. It's like 2 blocks away. So I've been picking it up. And he's like, oh, do you still live around? And I was like, yes. So I was like, oh, I told my boyfriend, I was like, oh, that's really embarrassing. Like, I haven't ordered, like, delivery in probably, like, 2 years. And he still remembered my address. But I like to think that helping keep a local place in business. And I just cut the crinkle down a tiny bit. So hopefully it just fits a little bit better because this turning hole I left small again and my hand is not fitting in here. But this time I inserted it below the batting instead of on top. And I think that worked better. Like, I'm much easier to slide it. Yeah, that flattened out a lot quicker. Alright, and then 3, 4, 5. Alright, I think I have this all lined up correctly, but let me just double check my instructions. Yeah, it says to base down this and then machine stitch. I'm just going to do it all through my machine because I think my machine will be able to handle it. And like I said, I haven't sealed up any of those openings yet. I do the same thing with bags. A lot of times designers say to like close up your turning hole and then top stitch. I always leave it in case I want to be able to adjust something. The only thing though is once I sew down the center to kind of hold the book together, my turning holes are on the right, so I'm not going to be able to reach the left hand side. So I am just double checking that all the corners are poked out really well, and the same thing with the edges all the way around. Because I would be able to fix things on this side, but not the left-hand side. And I'm just, you can see there's lines that match up. So I'm just matching them, and I'm doing one at a, or clipping one at a time. So lining this up, clipping it, and then I'll add the top layer. I might need, I have some hair clips here from Mormino, which are a little bit wider that I think I'm going to end up having to use. Crafter's Pick, Fabric Glue, and Liquid Stitch. Okay, I'm going to look those up and try them. I appreciate that. I always love recommendations from people too, because, you know, like someone can say like, you know, like use glue or use double-sided tape or whatever, but you never know like how well they work. So I always like knowing like exactly what people use and prefer, because there's so many things I feel like I have bought and then I'm like, oh, this doesn't work for me, or, you know. And I guess that could still be the case even if people tell you the brand they prefer, but I'd rather have it tested and know someone else likes it first. All right, so this is kind of thick. I don't know if you can see from the side here, and there's a white line down the center. On the exterior, there also is a white line. I'm debating, I was going to sew it like this, but now if that white line is not lined up exactly, I think I want it to be matched up on the exterior better. So I'm going to sew it with the exterior facing up. And because it's so puffy, people would probably recommend using a walking foot. I'm going to try it without and hope it works. And I just started it a little bit away from the edge, and I'm going to help guide it forward and then reverse to the edge. I do the same thing too with like thick seams in a bag. I won't, sometimes my machine has trouble like pulling it in from the edge. So I'll start in like maybe like 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch, stitch forward, and then stitch back. And this is pulling it through really well. I don't think it's shifting much. I don't really see it shifting at all, so I'm hoping that's the case. And I'm just following the white line. I know that the odds of it being lined up, that's probably why they tell you to baste it, so that way it would be like you can control where the needle's coming through on both sides. But I don't want to have to baste it and then pull those stitches out, or like then machine sew and then try to pull the stitches out over it. Alright, and I'm just going to make sure I cut these threads. I've tried to be really mindful, making sure I'm trimming all my threads, especially because, you know, if a baby's using this and putting it in their mouth or tugging on it, God forbid, I don't want anything like loose or whatnot. I'm curious. I want to use my Basic Brother, I think, next time to see if it could handle this seam, because I'm curious if other machines, like, because this has all the metal gears inside, so pretty much anything I put under the presser foot will sew. But this is, like, you can see it's kind of thick. You can see how it's puffed up. But that sewed through, and I guided the line on the back using the white line as a guide, and it stayed pretty matched up. Like, it's not really crooked or anything. It lined up really, really well. Oh man, the only thing that I guess I would do different next time, well, one, I would put a little bit more batting in the ears to keep them up, but I was doing like 1, 2, and then 1, 2, rotating where I had the what's it called, the little tabs, which I did here, but then for the red and green I realized I put them on the same exact side. One of these was supposed to be further up, but that's okay. There's just a little gap right over here. Yeah, Arnetta, it's super, super fluffy. The batting that I used was just a polyester. I think I have it. It's just from Walmart. Hold on. Yeah, this is the batting that I used. It was Polyfold Extra Loft. And that's because I personally prefer fluffy blankets. So you can see this was for twin size, and the quilt that I was using it on was just a throw. So all this was extra, and it worked perfect. And it is fluffy, but I think it works nice. I'm happy with it. So I guess it's personal preference. But yeah, so it's super cute. This one was the Honey Bunny from Cotton Cuts, and then I'll show you the open. So I just have to go through and press it and sew up the bottom, the openings. And what's cute is the ears like match up where the head of the bunny is for each page. And I believe in all the books, it's not all bunnies. They have different ones each month, but there's always something that kind of sticks out that goes through the pages like this. Yeah, so I'm really happy with that. And then, so now I have those 3 turning holes, which I am going to buy that glue that Charlene recommended and test it out on a scrap, because I really don't want to hand sew this. So either do that, or like I said, you could ladder stitch these clothes. And because it's so fluffy, it'll be really easy to hide the thread. Regular. Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, I think the thinner batting would be fine. I just didn't want to have to buy anything, and I had all these scraps, so I'm quite happy with it. And I'm so grateful that last time, Charlene, that you recommended about this fuzzy tail too. That turned out so well. I'm so happy about that. But I'll definitely be making more of these. Like I said, I signed up for the they have a monthly option that's kind of like the puzzle mystery quilts. Well, they'll mail you one each month, and so this ships out like the first week of each month. So in a couple weeks, I should have another one. I'll definitely be making more. This was a lot of fun. I definitely recommend it. But I'm gonna hop off here for tonight. I really appreciate everyone joining in. Thank you all for your support. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving this week. Hopefully it's not too stressful. It can be relaxing, and you get to do something fun for yourself as well. But I'll post some pictures once and let you know how it goes with the glue. And I do believe that I should be on next week on Tuesday. I don't know what I'll be working on, but as of right now, I plan on being live. So hopefully I will see you next Tuesday night. Have a great night, everyone. Bye.